Owning a Tesla just got a whole lot riskier. And not just because the Cybertruck recall proved they're held together with defective glue. First came the vandalism, then terrorism allegations, and next, insurance refuses to pay for damaged cars. That's because Elon Musk's vocal support for Trump put Tesla at the center of anti-Trump protests. And there have been at least 80 incidents of arson and vandalism against Teslas in the US and Canada. Now, Proud Boys, militias, and guys dressed as literal Hitler are rallying to defend the brand. And it's hard to imagine things getting worse for Tesla owners. But don't worry guys, as usual, President Trump has found a way to make a bad situation even worse. Because President Trump announced that Tesla vandalism attacks were acts of domestic terror, and the Department of Justice followed its lead. Attorney General Pam Bondi said, quote, "Let this be a warning, if you join this wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla properties, the Department of Justice will put you behind bars." And the FBI started a domestic terrorism task force devoted to investigating attacks against Tesla. Now that's bad news for people that broke the law. They could face 5 to 15 years in prison. But that doesn't help Tesla owners who are the victims of vandalism, because now their insurance might not pay out at all. Now, typically, personal auto policies will cover damage to your car that's caused by fire or vandalism, with one big caveat. The policies usually explicitly exclude losses caused by terrorism. The Insurance Information Institute says that personal auto policies, quote, "will cover a car that is damaged or destroyed in a terrorist attack only if the policyholder has purchased optional comprehensive coverage." But even if you have a comprehensive policy, whether you have coverage depends on specific policy language and whether you have exclusions for terrorism or war. And a lot of policies have explicit exclusions for terrorism. Now, the definition of terrorism varies by insurer, but the policies generally track the government's definition of domestic terror. For example, here's the terrorism exclusion from the Hartford. It defines terrorism as, quote, "the threat or use of force or violence when one or both of the following applies. The effect is to intimidate or coerce the government, or the intent is to further political, ideological, religious, social, or economic objectives, or to express opposition to a philosophy or ideology." Who decides whether the exclusion applies? An insurance adjuster. And, spoiler alert, when in doubt, insurers almost always side with themselves. But if the government describes an event as terrorism, that gives the insurers even more incentive to deny the claims. And the Hartford's policy reflects this, saying, quote, "terrorism also includes any act that a government or applicable jurisdictional authority declares or certifies to be an act of terrorism." So if your Tesla gets torched, you better hope your insurer isn't reading the DOJ's press releases. If you own a Tesla, you need a good lawyer. But with my law firm, the Eagle team, you'll get a great lawyer and pay nothing unless you win. So click on the link below.